Hello everyone and welcome to another ESV TV Spotlight with of course Liquid's TaeJa, our Gosu Terran player who just stops the Korean weeklies again and again. And we're going to be taking a look at a TVP replay of his today. So let's take a look at our player of course before we jump right in. Here he is, Liquid's TaeJa, hailing from South Korea, originally from Team ZX, then to Team Slayers. And now he's on Team Liquid, which is awesome, by the way. Not only am I a big fan of Team Liquid, but also what it means is that for any TaeJa fans out there, regardless of whether you're a fan of Liquid or not, it just means that he's going to get more exposure at foreign events. He's going to get to travel to places like IPL, MLG, all those good events, all the European ones as well, IEM, DreamHack, etc. So I just can't wait to see him at all those events, representing himself and representing Liquid, and of course all the training that he got from Zenix and Slayers. I always gotta wonder, how much help he got from Slayers. I know he wasn't living in their team house when he was on Slayers, but he certainly seemed to improve a lot. And he was still really, really ghosty when he was back on Team Zenix as well. That team doesn't get enough credit. They get all their best players poached from them. In any case, let's jump in and get this game started. Here it is, guys. Our second, whoops, you just lost. Here it is, our second ESV TV Spotlight game of Liquid's TaeJa. He is, of course, our blue Terran here in the bottom right, and this is a TVP. He's going to be up against our Protoss in the top left, who has a Korean name. I am sorry, I don't know who that is. I wish I could read Korean, but I can't, and in fact, who knows if it's actually somebody's name or not. Maybe it's like some phrase. You never know. The point is, he's top GM Korean Terran, so I'm sure he's playing top GM Korean Protoss. And it's going to be on Entombed Valley, which is generally thought of as a Protoss favorite map. Generally, but I think that's much more in PvZ than it is in PvT. One of the problems with PvT on this map is these rocks between the third and the natural. This is a very small location, so a lot of Terrans like to come up here with Marine Marauder and kind of pressure units between those two expansions where they have tough time getting around and actually engaging onto the Terran. A lot of players will drop their factory in one of these locations, try to help deal with that type of Protoss trying to take a quick third. TaeJa not going to go command center first. He is on the ladder with these games, so it's not like he has a best of 3 or something. Can't really go command center first if you don't have that available to you. So he's just going to play it safe. We'll probably see a gasless expand on him with a map like this, with a ramp leading down from the natural. It's pretty easy to defend. I seriously doubt he will add gas, but you never know. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll go 2 racks. TaeJa very rarely goes 1-on-1. He's actually a player who almost never does that build. Even back when it was so popular. Oh my god, he's going to 2 racks gasless. So this is getting more and more popular, especially in Korea. Before people were doing 2 racks reactor first into Tech Lab, but Protoss players are doing earlier and earlier expansions. They're playing safer and safer and getting their builds more fine-tuned. But due to the threat of 1-1-1, so many Protosses will either go Nexus first or 1-gate Nexus. So 2 racks gasless, pretty much just hard counters either of those. You will almost always be able to force a cancel on the Nexus or do significant damage if you do this and you execute correctly, and TaeJa's micro is fantastic, so hopefully he will be executing correctly here. I'm just going to scout out for where his opponent is at, and we'll probably see bunkers thrown down. We'll have to see how many SCVs he actually pulls to go with this, but it's certainly no type of all-in. It's just, he's going to drop a command center behind it. It's a pressure move to prevent Protosses from being too greedy, essentially. We see a Zealot first, though, from our Protoss. That's because so many Terrans will go ahead and engineering bay block you if you don't go Zealot first, and it really helps to DPS that down quickly. If you wait for the Stalker, your Nexus is going to be quite late. So he is going 1-gate Nexus before even his first Stalker, but he is chrono boosting the heck out of Warp Gate right now. Doesn't have a lot of chrono energy available, so it's not like Huck's 20 food PvT expand where you like chrono Warp Gate just constantly get up 3 gateways and are totally fine against early aggression. He will have a 2, maybe 3 if he gets his next chronos on there. So he will have Warp Gate up pretty quickly, and we'll probably see him thus drop 3-gate total. Not 3 gates in addition, but 3-gate and then Robo. But if he realizes 2 racks is on the way, he might just drop up to 4-gate. First bunker's on the way, out of vision. So our Protoss player doesn't know about it. He's going to chase. Oh, he barely sees it with the Zealot. Oh, that was such a good move by TaeJa, trying to get him to bait out towards the SCV and Marines. But looks like our Protoss player didn't notice anyways. He wasn't going for it. And now he's in just a little bit of trouble. That probe did escape, though, so he can make like some forward pylons or do whatever he wants here. But a second bunker is already going down from TaeJa. With the first one about to complete, it doesn't look like our Protoss player is going to be able to deny this without even a Stalker first. He can't just go down and target fire the SCVs. So he's going to be forced to cancel this Nexus, or he will probably lose it. And it is going to be 4-gate due to the fact that he knows he's up against 2 Rax Gasless. So he doesn't have to worry about the Robo. You usually get the Robo to deal with the possibility of 1-1-1. Click Banshee, etc. There's the cancel. Nice, I like that decision. If he hadn't, would have been in some serious trouble. Oh, how unfortunate. He drops a forward pylon, but it's right next to the barracks. He could not have possibly known about TaeJa having that barracks there. So unfortunately, his pylon and probe are going to get picked off here. And that was kind of the ace in the hole for our Protoss player here. He was like, alright, fine, I'll get contained to back of my main base, but you're going to have all your Marines sitting outside my front door. Oh, where's the force field? There it is. You'll have all your Marines outside my front door, so I'll go ahead and counterattack you. But no, the pylon's going to get picked off. He's going to lose his forward probe as well. So this is a pretty bleak location for a Protoss player. He's got to break out of a contain, take an expansion late. Actually, TaeJa not going to hold the contain. All he wanted to do was force the Nexus cancel. Look at that, even going to get both salvages off. So cost efficient. Meanwhile, his command center is already complete. That is such an economic advantage over our Protoss player just starting his Nexus right now. Oh, and he didn't keep up probe production either. Only 25 probes right now. One of the most crucial things about this, I think he was planning on doing an all-in with that forward pylon. He was planning on just using 4-gate and busting his opponent. And then once the pylon got taken out, he's like, oh, crap, I'm going to drop a Nexus and play it standard, actually. Never mind. But that's tough to do when you haven't been keeping up probe production. You need to be chronoing probes constantly because against a Terran who's ahead of you on expansion timing, double muling, oh, it is just brutal being down on probes. You really, really need that probe count so that as soon as your Nexus completes, you immediately have full saturation there. But he's just going pure Zeal Sentry for now. 5 sentries he's up to. Many Protoss players in PvT are staying back down at like 4, but this is a really wide open map. If you're out in the center on Entombed, you need a lot of force fields. Still, I don't expect our Protoss player to be going for any engagements anytime soon. Probably just going to be playing defensively here. In fact, I'm surprised he's not up the ramp. There we go. You don't want to get caught down the ramp where you're going to need way more force fields than normal. Looks like TaeJa might just go for these rocks, try to circumvent this, or he's just going to pick off that Zealot that he saw go up there for free. Oh, but it might not be for free. This might have been a bait move. Our Protoss player now has the Terran trapped. What can TaeJa do? He's not going to escape from there. Those Marines are dead. They get force fielded, and they're going to suffer not so pleasant a fate. He is taking out a couple Zealots, but you don't really want to be trading Marines for Zealots. I mean, it's minerals for minerals, but Marines, you kind of get that critical mass going to Marines, which you don't really get going with Zealots. One probe is hidden over here at the bottom left, or no, soon to be bottom right, so maybe we'll set up a forward pylon, something like that. Maybe just try to get some scouting. Quick third orbital on the right, already on the way from TaeJa. So he's going to go for a very macro-oriented strategy. He is just pumping off 4 barracks to add his 5th one here, but no sign of a factory anytime soon, so not going to be rushing out medevacs. No eBay either, so he will be falling behind on upgrades against our Protoss player. What is this? What? Oh, this is just bizarre. He's going Blink first and +1 armor. Let me explain to you why that makes no sense at all. Generally with Blink first, you want +1 attack. Stalkers with +1 or +2 attack. It makes a huge difference for them. But the main reason that you want armor in PvT is that Marines are attacking very quickly, doing low damage. Armor upgrades can help you a ton, but that doesn't apply for Blink Stalkers because first off, you don't want to be taking armor damage. Armor is only helping you once you get down to HP, once you're out of shields. Otherwise, it's the shield upgrade that governs your armor. You can see 0 armor for shield, so 1 armor base for armor. So if you're microing quote-unquote properly with Blink Stalkers, you're always blinking away the hurt Stalkers before they get into the red, before they get into their health at all. So getting armor upgrades really doesn't help you at all, whereas attack upgrades help you quite a bit, and shield upgrades can help as well. So it's just absolutely bizarre that he's gone for this choice, but maybe he'll switch into charge, get a whole bunch of charge slots, and he just wants Blink to be able to deal with the possibility of drops. The problem is he never added a Robo, so he's just playing totally blind right now. Still no Robo, no Hallucinate, nothing like that. He's playing completely blind, so he's expecting maybe drop play coming out. I have to imagine that's why he got Blink. He has no idea that TaeJa is actually going quick third orbital and really late medevacs. I mean, for the starport to be starting at the 11-minute mark, usually you'd already have medevacs out dropping by the 11-minute mark. So it's not to say that TaeJa's build is bad or behind. He specifically decided to forego early medevacs in order to get out an earlier third command center since he knew he was ahead economically with the late second Nexus. It's like, alright, just get further ahead. Take your economic advantage, push it even further, great move, and just pump out lots of infantry. It makes a lot of sense. But for a Protoss player to not know that's coming, instead he ends up going Blink, +1 armor. He still hasn't continued upgrades despite having his early Twilight. Usually that's great, having an early Twilight, you continue to +2. But he's still not continuing upgrades, so he's playing very just oddly this game. He's going for quick Templar off 2 base before adding a third. I like that move. Getting some early Storm or some early Archons can be excellent in helping deal with our early Terran infantry. That's a lot of Marines. Finally, +1 is 3/4 of the way done. But think about how much of an upgraded advantage our Protoss could have by now. Think about the fact that he had an earlier Forge, could have chronoed, an earlier Twilight, and TaeJa really had a late eBay. His eBay was really late because he was going 5 racks and Command Center before going eBay and Factory. So our Protoss pair could have had a huge advantage. Instead, he's allowing TaeJa to catch up by not keeping up those Forge upgrades. That's a pretty big deal. Upgrades are just absolutely key in PvT. Forward pylon is set up for the possibility of aggression, but when he saw those bunkers on the upper ground, he decided not to be aggressive on the TaeJa. And he doesn't really have any information to be able to change his mind about that. Still no Robo has been added, and no third either, so think about how far ahead TaeJa is right now economically. His third's already done. He's at 63 SCVs to 47 probes, and he has triple muling on top of that. So unless he makes a mistake, like gets caught out in the middle of the map in a bad engagement, TaeJa has such a big advantage. He should be able to push this into a win, but he needs to fall back. This is just not a good engagement for him. Oh no, getting caught by force fields. All of his units out in the center in excellent force fields here. The Protoss player wasn't forced to use any early force fields, but he doesn't have a lot of zealots in here. He's starting to lose sentries. Blink Stalkers are great, but they can die pretty quickly to Marauders, but this is just awful for TaeJa. In fact, he might end up losing this game after having such a big advantage. When you think about it, going for that attack right there made no sense for him. I'll talk about that in a second. Right now, he's trying to hold this bunker. Repairing is going on. Blink Stalkers still not able to pick it up, but they're just going to target fire down some of the Marauders right now. And TaeJa is falling so quickly. There's the force field. Nothing can be repaired. And I'm starting to see why he sent this replay in. He's probably like, how can I lose? Protoss OP. How can I lose after having such a big advantage? This is ridiculous. But I know exactly why he lost. Talk about in a second after this engagement finishes. It's so sad to see. What a slight mistake by TaeJa. And an excellent move by the Protoss, just taking advantage of it. And it's really hard to do that when you don't even have observers and you don't know what the Terran's doing. It's not like he was like, oh, I see you're going to move out and you're going to make a bad decision, I'm going to go punish you. No. He just had the game sense to do that. So TaeJa trying to just micro units back out of these force fields one at a time. But it's just a couple Marauders and Marines against an endless supply of Blink Stalkers. So this should be GG. Although if he can, somehow magically take out the forces, he's still not that bad off on economy. Oh my god, all these SCVs weren't mining this entire time. That sucks. That's a shame. Lots of mules getting dropped. TaeJa trying to equalize here. Wouldn't it be funny if he ended up winning this game? I mean, our Protoss player certainly did overcommit to that attack, just making Blink Stalkers instead of reinforcing with Zealots and just using the Blink Stalkers in the back. The Zealots to kite. He's finally started +1 ground weapons at the 16-minute mark of a PvT. What am I watching right now? Oh, but he's got to be careful with his unit control. You don't want to start losing units just by themselves like that. Keep in mind, our Protoss is still only on a 2-base economy. His third's not done yet, so it's not like he's ridiculously far ahead here. He still has to be careful. TaeJa still has the opportunity to come back in this game. Nice target firing on the Archon. Excellent move there. Force Field is actually working against our Protoss players. Zealot's kind of getting trapped behind the Blink Stalkers. TaeJa just kiting his life out right now. He's got 1-1 against a 0-1 Protoss player. He's actually going to take the advantage. He's going to start pulling ahead. This is unbelievable. I mean, he's still behind on food, but just taking out all these expensive Protoss units is absolutely fantastic. He keeps lifting up units as they're about to die. He's just showcasing some unbelievable efficiency, but the problem is he's losing SCVs during all of this. The workers kill tab is disgusting. 48 workers killed by our Protoss player. Oh, and that's really what shows it right there. If he had kept those SCVs alive and we were still at 50 Harvesters to 40, this would probably be TaeJa's game right now, actually, after taking all the sentries, taking out the Archons, taking out so many Blink Stalkers, which you really need to build up a high number of them to be efficient against Terran. But with that many SCVs, this is going to be tough. I mean, he has triple orbital, but our Protoss player has triple Nexus he can chrono off of. Oh, and the Dark Shrine has been added as well. An excellent choice. When you know your Terran player is down on economy, they really have to be so efficient. Sometimes Terran players can afford to just drop extra turrets, extra bunkers. They don't care. They're like, I got plenty. It's no problem. But when you're behind like this, you have to pump every single mineral you have into SCVs, into Marines, and Marauders, or you're going to die. If you don't pump them into SCVs and you pump them into units, well, then you'll live against the early attack, but then you're going to die later because your economy is so far behind against the Protoss chrono boosting 3 Nexuses. But if you just make SCVs and make turrets and you don't make units, you're going to die to some type of warp gate aggression. So it's a precarious situation. He's not going to have the money to drop things like turrets, and he's going to be spending all of his energy on mules the second he gets it with no energy to spare for scans. So you can see how DTs could be an excellent choice, especially if you just make 3 DTs. Think about it. 3 DTs send 1 to each base. When you don't have turrets and you have to spend a scan to pick off every single DT, it's an unbelievable amount of money that Terran's not going to get from mules when they really need it to catch